Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Krishna Pade Anukam Krishna Pade Anukam Shri Panchatattva Mili Priti Vidasi Purva Prema Bandharira Budra Uttadiya Panchaminli Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadhan Panchaminli Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadhan Yata Yata Priya Krishna Bhakti Anukam Yata Yata Priya Krishna Bhakti Yata Yata Priya Krishna Bhakti Anukam Yata Yata Priya Krishna Bhakti Shri Panchatattva Mili Priti Vyasiya Shri Panchatattva Mili Priti Vyasiya Sei Panchatatvani Prithvi Asya. Sei
Panchatatvani Prithvi Asya.
Purva Prema Bandhavira Mudra Upadeya.
Purva Prema Bandhavira Mudra Upadeya.
Mudra Upadeya.
Mudra Upadeya.
Mudra Upadeya.
Mudra Upadeya.
Panchami Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadam.
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 Yata Yata Priya Krishna Pade Anukan.
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 Sei Panchatatvamili Prithvi Asya.
Sei Panchatatvani Prithvi Asya.
Prema Bhura Mandarira Mudra Upadeya.
Prema Purva Mudavila Mudra Upadeya.
Panchami Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadam.
Panchami Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadam.
Yata Yata Priya Krishna Pade Anukan.
Yata Yata Priya Krishna Pade Anukan.
Sei Panchatatvamili Prithvi Asya.
Sei Panchatatvani Prithvi Asya.
Purva Prema Bandharira Mudra Upadeya.
Purva Prema Bandharira Mudra Upadeya.
Panchami Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadam.
Panchami Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadam.
Yata Yata Priya Krishna Pade Anukan.
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 Sei Panchatatvamili Prithvi Asya.
Sei Panchatatvani Prithvi Asya.
Purva Prema Bandharira Mudra Upadeya.
Purva Prema Bandharira Mudra Upadeya.
Panchami Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadam.
Panchami Lutta Prem Kore Ashwadam.
Yata Yata Priya Krishna Pade Anukan.
Yata Yata Priya Krishna Pade Anukan.
Shri Shri Panchatattva Ki Jai. So, in this very famous verse, we're hearing how the Panchatattva broke the storehouse of love of God. And they broke the lock of the storehouse of love of God. And then what did they do when they broke the storehouse of love of God open? What did they do?
Distributed.
Distributed. No, that is wrong. They did not distribute it. Yata Yata Piya Trishna. Yata Yata Piya, what does it mean? Drink, yes. Piya. They were drinking. And what happened? Trishna Bharya Nukshan. What is Trishna? Thirst. Trishna. Bhade means Bhara. So what is Bhara? Big. The thirst, Anukan, that you can't guess, but it became bigger. So that as they were drinking, he's drinking. Now your thirst is only increasing and increasing. As soon as he said drinking, he was thinking, yes, drinking. But they were not just drinking water. They were drinking prem. Lutte prem. Lutte, what is lutte? Plunder. Lutte Lutta Prem. They were plundering that love. Yep. Yes. Say Panchatattva, this whole Panchatattva came down on this earth, Priti Vyasya, Purva Prema Bandharya. That bandar of prem, that storehouse of love of God, that purva that previously had remained locked, right? Mudra Ugadiya, they broke that lock. They smashed it. Panchamini, Lutta Prem. Then that whole assembly of these five personalities, they began to plunder. Panchamini, Lutta Prem. Lutta Prem, Lutta Prem, Lutta Prem, Lutta Prem, Koyar. They plundered that storehouse of love of God. Then they drank, and then their thirst increased. So this is a very important principle, because previously the storehouse of love of God remained locked. We find in Rupa Goswami's Lagu Bhagavatamrita a description of all the incarnations of the Lord. And he's describing an interesting thing, which we don't usually hear. He's describing that in this age, once in a day of Brahma, Lord Krishna appears in the Dwapara Yuga. And then in the Kali Yuga following that Dwapara Yuga, Lord Chaitanya appears. Then he said, and what happens in the other Kali Yugas? There are 1,000 Kali Yugas in a day of Brahma. So what happens in the other 999? So it's a good question. And Rupa Goswami describes and says in those other 999, there is also an incarnation of the Lord. And that incarnation is a blackish incarnation. And what is that incarnation doing? Then Rupa Goswami describes that incarnation is introducing Harinam Sankirtan. Harinam Sankirtan? I thought that was only Lord Chaitanya. He says, no. All these other incarnations in every Kali Yuga, they're also giving Harinam Sankirtan. But because they are avatars of the Lord, they cannot give that special mercy along with that Harinam Sankirtan which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives. That special mercy that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives makes the chanting very easy. And so, suddenly, Katanchana Smriteyasmin Dushkaram Sukaram Bhavet, what normally is difficult becomes easy by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now suddenly by chanting so quickly, love of God is attained. Now so easily offenses are overcome. In any other Kali Yuga it is practically impossible. Although they are receiving the holy name, still the storehouse of love of God remains locked. But now it's open. Anyone can plunder. Anyone. Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalu, Nasteva, 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 Bhakti. Everyone can chant in this way. Iti Sudasakam Namnam Kali Kalmasanasanam. In these 16 syllables of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the influence of Kali is lost. Do you know the story of Nala and Damayanti? Nala, he was a very beautiful young prince, and Damayanti was a very beautiful young princess. So, it was the time for Damayanti Swayamvar. So Nala decided to go there and to compete. So as he was on the way, he had an extraordinary experience. Because what happened was that suddenly Indra, Agni and Vayu appeared before him. Now imagine you're traveling on the road and suddenly there is Indra, Agni and Vayu. What would you do? Nala, he offered his obeisances. he saw these effulgent personalities appear in the sky, and he immediately bowed down, offered his obeisances. Naturally. Then they revealed themselves. Indra said, I am Indra. This is Agni. This is why. We have come with a request for service. Oh. Any service you desire. Any service you desire. I am completely at your disposal. Then Indra said, well, actually, it is the Swayamvar of Damayanti. And the three of us have decided to compete. And therefore we ask you to please go and inform Damayanti beforehand that we are coming to the Swayamvar and that she can choose one of us. And Nala said, but this is not fair because I was actually myself going to Damayanti. Did you promise that you would do any service we desire? Okay. So Nala went. So Nala went before the Swayamvar and met with Damayanti. So then he told Damayanti that I am the messenger. I am the messenger of Indra, Agni and Vayu. And I have come here to let you know that they will attend your Swayamvar and they would desire that you choose one of them. Then Damayanti said, of course I'm greatly honored, but at the same time it will be very difficult because I've already made my choice. I've already chosen Nala. He's going to be my husband. So what could Nala say? Anyway, then, so Nala came back after meeting Damayanti. And again, Indra appeared. And Indra said, so, what did Damayanti say? And Nala told everything truthfully. Then, on the day of the Swayamvar, as all the princes were competing, and it was time for Damayanti to give the garland. She was ready to give the garland to Nala. But suddenly there were 4 Nalas. Because the demigods can take any form they like. So there were 4 Nalas. So Damayanti, she was looking, which one is it? She couldn't see any difference. They all looked the same. Then she thought, but I'm a chaste lady. I can only accept one man in my life. And therefore, I have accepted Nala and I cannot accept any other. Therefore, on the strength of my chastity, let the real Nala be revealed. And immediately the demigods could no longer maintain their form. And then there was Nala, only one. She gave him the garland, and that was it. Well, the Indra, Agni, Vayu, they left the Swayamvar and they said, well, the girl, she wanted Nala. And how girls are, it's like, when they have their mind set on something, you can't change it. So what to do? The girl wanted Nala, it is okay. So they went back to the heavenly planets. But then what happened? That one day, Kali, the lowest of the celestials, he came to Indra and he said, what this Nala did, it was just outrageous. I mean, how could Nala behave in such a way? And Indra said, no, it was no problem. The girl, she wanted him. He says, no, that's not the point. The girl, okay, she wanted him. But Nala could have refused. He should have refused out of respect and deference for the Devatas. Indra thought, I never looked at it that way, but yeah, you have a point there. You do have a point, actually. Yeah, indeed, indeed. Kali said, then you allow me to punish him. To be continued. Next time I visit. So Kali received the blessings from Indra that he could punish this Nala and teach him a lesson. So once upon a time, when Nala did not properly wash after eating, that happens sometimes. And when that happened, then Kali entered. And Kali entered into his body, and Kali entered into his mind. Then came a whole situation where Nala was challenged to a gambling match, and he was just gambling and gambling. And all the time he thought it was his own choice, but it was not. It was actually influenced by Kali. And then he lost everything. And then in the end, he had only one cloth left, and Damayanti, who was now his wife, she only had one cloth. So with one cloth each, they went to the forest. And they were in the middle of the forest, and they had nothing left, nothing. And then Nala says, oh, I am so fallen. Oh, Damayanti, I am not worthy of you. Oh, I have created such an offense. How can I be with you any longer? And she said, you're not going to leave me in the middle of the forest all by myself, is it? Right? But that's what he did. He left her all alone in the forest. And all along he thought it was his choice, but actually it was the influence of Kali. Kali controlled his mind. And then what happened was that some hunter came, and there she was, all alone. That hunter, he saw like what am I seeing here in the forest? Oh, so much, such nice sights we don't see every day. Oh yes. Yes. And he tried to make advances towards the girl. And again, on the strength of her chastity, she prayed that she might be protected, and the hunter fell dead. In those days. Nowadays, unfortunately, it's no longer like that. I wish the ladies had that power so that we could resolve the rape issues in India. Yeah, because it's too much. It's really too much. And but anyway, that's another topic. I'll get there a little later. Anyway, Nala was getting totally degraded after that. Kali took over completely, and Nala, what he did not do for sinful activities, I don't even want to discuss it, to be honest. That part of the story, I leave it for what it is, you know. You know it anyway. After all, we know everything that's going on in the world these days. So there, I don't need to tell all the nonsense that is happening. So I leave that for what it is. Yes, then, meanwhile, somehow or other Damayanti managed to get out of that forest, and she returned back to her father. But because she had been married to Nala for a short time, and men were powerful in those days, so although they had been married for a short time, already there was an issue on the way. Yes. Any issue, yes, issue coming. Issue was just now coming, so she was expecting, so she was home with her father, and in due course of time gave birth to a child. Nala, he traveled, and somehow or other came in that kingdom. And it was then that Damayanti welcomed him. and presented her son to him. This is your son. And Nala is like, what are you talking about? You know, he's not my son. But a celestial voice then spoke and confirmed that this was indeed the son of Nala. Oh, I forgot. Only after first she prayed again on the strength of her chastity, then the celestial voice spoke. Anyway, that's sort of the story. Now you know it. And then they lived happily ever after and all these things. And then Kali, Indra called back Kali, all right, now it's enough. You know, and Nala was again relieved from being possessed by Kali. So that was because Kali was given a short license outside of his normal time. But now he has the full license. Kali since then put in a fresh application, and he got full license, full. Yes, and he is. So now this is interesting because how does Kali operate? That's what we get from this story. That's why I told you the whole story. That Kali actually takes over, enters into our consciousness due to impurity, which is not so difficult to find in Kali Yuga. So he enters, takes over our consciousness, and we think that we make the choices. And meanwhile, it is Kali who is making the choices and is influencing us to make the choices. That is why it said, Iti sodasakam namnam kali kalmasanasanam. That by these 16 syllables of the chanting of Hare Krishna, the influence of Kali is destroyed. And all this time, we thought, when I was a teenager, you know, teenage is a difficult age, I think. You know, it's a tough time. So, somehow or other, I got some music, and there was a song, and the song was, "It's my life and I do what I want." I liked that song. It was from a band called The Animals. The band was called The Animals, and the song was "It's my life and I do what I want." Yeah, so I used to play that. You know. Yeah. What can I say? Yeah, so I was thinking, I will do what I want. And don't we all think like that? Yeah. Whether you played the song or not, everybody thought the same thing. It's my life and I will do what I want. Yes. And, you know, India is very well known. You say yes, 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 Father, yes, yes, yes. And meanwhile you're thinking, it's my life and I do what I want. Yes, 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 it's my life. So, what to do? Everyone wants to do what they want in this age of Kali. This is the age. Previously, people would think, what is proper? What is proper? Previously, people would think, what is my duty? What am I supposed to be doing? What is proper? That is the tradition. But then in the age of Kali it changed and it became, it's like, no, it's what do I want? What do I want? It's my life and I do what I want. So what do I want? Nowadays it's difficult to make up your mind. So many choices, so many possibilities. What do I want? This is the difficulty. But one thing we know for sure, we want to do what we want. Right? But today we learned from the story of Nala and Damayanti that although we think we'll do what we want, that we're actually not doing what we want. We're actually possessed by Kali, and Kali will make us do what he wants. Have you ever thought of that? See, we thought, oh, Kali Yug chal raha hai. अच्छा वो बहुत खराब है सब जगह में तो कलयुग चल रहा है इतना ज़्यादा कलयुग चल रहा है भैया देखो बहुत खराब है बिल्कुल साफ जगह में देखो तो कलयुग चल रहा है सही है बिल्कुल बहुत ज़्यादा. Yes. So we all know that Kali Yuga is going on. We can see it everywhere. Sometimes devotees get into Kali Yuga Katha. Oh, Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga. Oh, it is so bad, Kali Yuga. Oh, Kali Yuga. Everywhere Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, Kali Kali Yuga Yuga. They sometimes forget to chant Hare Krishna, so much Kali Yuga. But the truth of the matter is that Kali Yuga, Kali as a personality is controlling our consciousness to a point that we don't even notice it. Therefore, only the chanting of Hare Krishna can actually liberate us. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada started these 4 regulative principles. We don't see that was there in the tradition. It is not that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Sanatan, Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, at that time they were known as Dabir Kas and Sakar Malik. And it was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who then gave them the names Rupa and Sanatan. And it is from that meeting on that they count as the disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not ask in that meeting, okay, Dabir Kas and Sakar Malik, what are the 4 regulative principles that you promise to follow for the rest of your life? No. And how many rounds are you promising to chant every day without fail? That question was not asked. Even later, even Srila Bhaktisiddhanta did not do that. He did not ask that. That Srila Prabhupada introduced. He introduced this question and the 4 regulative principles. He introduced them. So really? Yeah. But where did he take it from? In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a famous story again about Kali. And it is now the story where Maharaj Pariksit encountered Kali as Kali was attacking the bull and had broken the legs of the bull. So Maharaj Pariksit appeared and asked Kali, asked the bull rather, he asked the bull, who is the cause of this? And the bull said, it is hard to say. It could be karma, it could be providence, it could be various factors. It's hard to say. But at the same time, Maharaj Pariksit, he did not let Kali escape. But Kali, although dressed like a king, fell at the feet of the emperor and then begged for mercy. So then the king, gave him protection. So he said, okay, he didn't kill him. He said, but you can't stay in my kingdom. You have to be out of my kingdom. He said, no, but how can your kingdom, the whole world is your kingdom. The whole world is your kingdom. So where will I go? I have to be somewhere. How can I leave your kingdom when the whole world is your kingdom? So I cannot leave your kingdom. And since I'm existing, I have to exist somewhere. So then Maharaj Pariksit had a problem. Then Maharaj Pariksit said, all right, you can exist there, where gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, and meat eating is going on. In these places you can stay. And but Kali looked and said, but where is such a place? Where is such a place? Maharaj Pariksit, this guy is too much, now what? So then finally Maharaj Pariksit said, all right, you can stay in places where gold is stored. Because there these 4 things will follow. Then Kali was very happy. And he got a residence. So, that story we remember. So, Srila Prabhupada, he basically introduced these 4 principles to make sure that we would get out of the grip of Kali. Because Kali can reside there. And And then the previous influence of Kali, that is already in the consciousness. The 16 syllables of the Maha Mantra are destroying these things. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada introduced 4 regulated principles and 16 habits. And in that way, we become free from the influence of Kali. And then we can actually take advantage of this storehouse of love of God that has now been opened. As long as we are in the grip of Kali, how can we appreciate such finer sentiments? Just like this morning I listened to a lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave, a recording on the verse Sususru Saladana Shavasudeva Gataruchi, that by hearing from the Vaishnavas we can develop Vasudeva Gataruchi, we can develop taste for hearing from Katha about Vasudeva. And Prabhupada says yes, we can develop such taste. Previously we had no taste for these things. Go like, yes, I'm going to hear a Bhagavad lecture. What's wrong with him? It looks like, let's go and go see some movie or something. Let's have some fun. Go to some Bhagavad lecture. I have been in the sun too much, or what is wrong? Did you eat something wrong? What happened? Something wrong. So now, by association of devotees, our taste has changed. First, get out of the grip of Kali. Then, by the association of devotees, we can serve the devotees. Then, we can actually hear about Bhagavatam, about Krishna, and we can actually appreciate. So in this way, it is very nice actually, the discussions about Vasudeva. We develop some ruchi for that, some taste for that. Then we can. So yes, that is why our movement is strictly observing these 4 regulated principles. It's important to know that. Why? Otherwise, these are the 4 regulated principles. But why? Why are we following them? Why so important? So today I have kind of explained to you where they came from, what the reason is, and how we'll come out of the grip of Kali, and then the chanting will fully pull us out of the grip of Kali, and then we are totally free to actually begin to relish. And that is the idea. Vayam tunavitripiyam uttamasloka grame yatsrinvatam raza jnanam svadu svadu pade. That we should enjoy this at every step. At every step we should enjoy this katha. Saying in Bhagavad-gita, Maya Shaktamana. Ashaktamana. One should hear with attachment, with Ashaktamana. The mind becomes attached to Krishna, because there's taste. So like this, we are practicing our devotional service. And gradually, because there's taste, we develop attachment. And that's how we become devotees. By taste, attachment. But first that Kali, that influence of Kali has to go. Chalega. No, ne chalega. There is 3 principles is not bad. 3 out of 4. 75%. It's pretty good. So 75% नहीं चलेगा, चलेगा तो नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं चलेगा. All 4, not 3.5 principles. 4 minus, no, full 4 principles. I I never take anything. Only when I'm driving, I drink some coffee. Only. What to do? Driving. Dangerous. A lifesaver. I have to do it. It's not that I want to break these principles. No, I don't. No, not at all. But you want me to die? You want me to have some accident? You want me to die? What can I do? So I must take. Or you want to kill me? Tell me. You want to kill me? I only take the coffee. And tea I only take with my mother. Otherwise, never. But when my mother makes the tea, what can I do? I have to take it. What can I do? No, that is then Kali will enter. That is the entrance. That one cup of tea, made by mother or made by grandmother or made by anybody, that's enough. That's all Kali needs. Oh yes. Just this Nala. Once, didn't wash. Kali entered. Jai Jai Garam 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 Kali Jarur So Kali will enter our consciousness. That is the thing. So yes, so this movement is a movement, there is no compromise. Right? There is no compromise. Prabhupada was not compromised. In no way. We cannot find that he was compromised. There was no compromise. There was no such thing as chalega. Everything was pakka, completely pakka. Yeah, not little kacha, no pakka. So this is a big change for us. I remember one of the first services I did, there was a reception room, and they asked me to clean that reception room. So I was dusting it and cleaning it, but I had to do it quickly because some VIP was coming. So I had to do it very quickly. So I had the dust, and then I lifted the carpet and quickly put the dust on the carpet. And then I thought, oh no, Krishna can also look under the carpet. So I guess I cannot do this anymore. So I lifted the carpet again, took the dust out, threw it out. Yes, no more dust under the carpet. I'm so sorry. So old habits are there. Put some dust under the carpet, but no. These things have to change. These 4 regulated principles are non-negotiable. Sorry, non-negotiable. Yes, it is like that. And that is a price to pay. Absolutely. It is a price to pay. But we start with chanting. We start with chanting. We don't start with 4 regulated principles. We are not the International Society for Regulated Principles. We are the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. If we put the regulated principles up front, then we make spiritual life impossible. If every new person that comes, we slap him with all the rules, you know. When I was a new devotee, all day long, people would come and say, Prabhuji, this is offensive. Sorry. Next 5 minutes later, Prabhuji, this is offensive. 5 minutes later, Prabhuji, this is offensive. One night they woke me up. In the middle of the night, they woke me up and they said, I know I'm offensive. too much. You know? It's just too much. Yeah? If we make a spiritual movement like that, who will stay? Everybody will get, okay, enough, you know, I mean, see you later. I'll be back, you know, don't worry, just not coming. No, so, this is not the International Society for Rules and Regulations. This is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Krishna is up front. First, let's glorify Krishna. Let's do something for Krishna. Then regulative principles follow. That's how Srila Prabhupada introduced this movement. We can see in the beginning he did not tell everything. Little by little. Little by little. Yes. First, everybody chant. Everybody chant. Then, no. Only vegetarian. No. No intoxication. No. No illicit sex. No gambling. So yes, that is our foundation. This purity is our foundation. But it follows some taste. First there has to be some taste. And when we have some taste for Krishna, some taste for kirtan, some taste for prasadam, and then once the taste is there, okay, then we can start to follow some principles. But first there has to be some taste. Then it becomes possible. Otherwise it's just like, it's too much, you know. Everything is offensive. These people are too much. So in this way, we always think about that. How in the beginning, we can be very liberal. But over time, it becomes more strict. So we are strict with ourselves because we already are practicing, we already know. But liberal with new people. Yes. Like Prabhupada said, in our guest house in Vrindavan, there could be one room where people could smoke. Just like he was ahead of his time, because nowadays on the airports they have this also, smoke-free airport, and there's one glass box, and you see all these people in there puffing away. I like that. I think it's a good system. Put all the smokers in a glass box so you can look at them. I think it's a good system. I support that. Yeah. And yes. So we have to teach the world, you know. Not only from you must follow these things, but why? What are the benefits? In the Bhagavad-gita, these 4 regulative principles are described as the regulative principles of freedom. So it's not like, now I'm getting involved with Hare Krishna. Oh no, really, you're getting involved with Hare Krishna? Oh, I'm so sorry for you. Really, you know, because I heard that nothing is allowed. You want some chai? No, sorry, not allowed. Okay. We have here nice sabji, nice onion, garlic. No, not allowed. We have some snack here. Can I read the label first? Check all the E numbers, you know, Google it. Is this E number vegetarian? Is that E number? No, sorry. Even the chips you can't have because they also have the wrong E numbers. It's just like, you know, what will you have? Some water, please. It's. I'm so sorry that you are with Hare Krishna. Only water. Very difficult, no? So it is sometimes, it comes across as very restrictive to people. But the truth is actually, we become free. I am a disciple of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami, and you know him very well because he comes here so often, for so many years. Right? So, one time Maharaj was in New York, and one policeman came up to him and said, "Oh, so nice, you are a monk. What is it that you have to give up to be a monk?" Maharaj said, "Suffering." And the policeman said, "Makes sense, because they see it every day." You know? So from this, the cop said, "Yeah, that makes sense." Yeah, New York policeman, he sees enough of that suffering. Yes, so there's nothing that we're giving up, only suffering. So by following these four regulated principles, all we give up is suffering, nothing else. Don't think we're giving up anything else. If we think that by following these principles, pull this hand back. Oh, what will you drink? I don't know. Gokul tea or something. Even that is tulsi, and it's supposed to cook. What to drink? So it's not so easy. What to drink? But somehow or other, these things deliver us from suffering. That's it. These principles. That's all. So that we have to believe. Totally understand, totally see it. How all these things entangle us in suffering. You want some poison? Garam poison, garam poison, poison garam, poison, poison, zehar, zehar, garam, zehar, 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 garam, poison, garam. You want? Coffee, garam, coffee, it's poison. Anyone for suicide? Please, take. It's slow, but it works. Take it. These are the four regulative principles of freedom. And that is that's why it's so nice. Because although in the beginning, it is a little difficult. There is some tapasya, because old habits die hard, you know. Well, it's like that. So. But then we see that these things are just all these useless things, all these things that actually destroy us, go away, and everything becomes auspicious. Everything we do becomes auspicious if we simply follow, if we live the way Srila Prabhupada wanted us to live. Then suddenly everything becomes a blessing in our life. I was riding on the train in one country, and two girls, maybe 12, 13, talking, giggling, telling, looking and thinking, oh, little schoolgirls. Then one of the schoolgirls says to the other girl, "Do you drink whiskey?" Huh? These little kids, what did she just say? I was just sitting there. Did I hear that? And then the other one was giggling. What's going on? Because the parents drink it. And the children steal it from the parents. Yeah. And nowadays Indians also. In the tax-free stores on the airports, I see the Indians walking out with big bags. So, Kali Yug chal raha hai. Kali Yug chal raha hai. So yes, this is a very nice movement, and we are very fortunate that we're part of it, because everything becomes auspicious for us, auspicious for our children. We give something good. You can actually trust your parents that they You know, when your parents are devotees, you can actually trust that they are giving you something good. Well, my father was not a devotee and was giving things that were not good. What to do? So, I'm fortunate now to be in this movement. And so are you. So, let us be strong in our conviction, in our culture, in our practice. So any comments, any questions? I want to leave a little bit early because I'm leaving very early tomorrow morning. I have to do my puja before and some things, so I cannot make it late tonight. So if you have no questions, I run straight for the door.
One small kirtan is also smaller. According to the time.
Let's see if there's a question on the lecture.
Right. As we heard that Kali is influencing us in some or other way, trying to come in our lives to spoil us. So when we are in Krishna consciousness, so how to understand that where we can take a right decision, because Guru is not always with us and instructions are always given to us. But sometimes the influence is so high and we are just in the way of the Kali.
Te sam evanukam partam aham agyanajam tamaha nasiyami atmabhavastu jnanavipi vasvata. So that verse is one of the Chatusloki of Bhagavad-gita. And there Srila Prabhupada is saying that although we have the instruction of Guru, if somehow or other still we're either not following it or not able to fully understand, then Krishna from within will reveal to us transcendental knowledge with the shining lamp of transcendental knowledge from within. He will give us that knowledge. So Krishna is there, spiritual master is there, and somehow or other it goes on. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there is Gopakumar. He's on a journey for the truth. And then Gopakumar meets his spiritual master. But somehow or other there was not enough time. The spiritual master gave him an instruction, but sort of he didn't fully understand it. But the spiritual master was already gone. So then, what to do? Then as good as he understood it, he followed it. Although partially he did it wrong, because he misunderstood. But because of his sincere attempt to try and follow the spiritual master, transcendental knowledge was revealed to him, and he made advancement, and he just stayed on the path. So whatever our spiritual master does say to us, we should understand Guru Sunaramatir. It is an offense to think that the spiritual master is an ordinary human being. We should take whatever he says, we should take that as a treasure. And that's not only our Guru who's present, but the whole parampara. So whatever the acharyas say, that we should take to heart. Okay? These are the treasures in our life. That is right. And we're protected. We need to also use our own brain. We cannot just wait for instructions. One has to receive this knowledge, assimilate it, and thoroughly make it his own. And we have to think about it. How this is true. Not only, like example, we are not this body, we eternal spirit soul. Okay, you can memorize that, and I can wake you up anytime, and then you can say, yes, we're not this body, we're eternal spirit soul. Anytime. Yeah. But that's not good enough. we have to think about it. So now I have this knowledge. What are the consequences of that? We're not this body, we're eternal spirit soul. What are the consequences? What are the consequences? Tell me. Testing.
Consequences that we forget, then we are again in the illusion that we are this material body and we can do mistakes.
Yeah, okay. The consequences of the understanding that we're not this body and that we're eternal spirit soul means that the body becomes a secondary priority and the soul becomes the first priority. That's a big change in life. When the soul becomes the first priority. It never was. But after hearing that knowledge, the soul should become the first priority. Otherwise, if we have not thought about what is the consequence of this, then we can just hear this knowledge. You're not this body, you're eternal spirit soul. And you can repeat it. You're not this body, you're eternal spirit soul. But that is parrot-like learning, right? That we just repeat the sound. You're not this body. We have to think about it. What are the consequences? So now this is one example. But with every word of the Bhagavad-gita, we have to ask again and again, what are the consequences for my life? Now this verse, what are the consequences for my life that I'm reading here? In this way, you can read the whole Bhagavad-gita again and go and look at just the verses now. Look at every verse. What are the consequences of this statement in my life? And just think about it. That means assimilate it. Think deeply. But it's not just we read the Gita. It's not some dry ritual. We can do some chapter. Maya Shaktamana Parta Yogi Yunvasya Sansiyan Samagaman Yitaka Chasilatina Kyalatam Zurikanam Nidam Bhakjami Sejadani Gatpani Guriyan Skatvam Visishite Manushanam Sajitu Kashitati Sinin Yatama Vizinam Kastinam Yatitatana Bhumi Bhuma Yukama Budrivicha Andrigitiam Vinam. Do a whole chapter like this. Very nice. It's for Apremita Stanyam Pradam Vignetam Bhavam Okay, we can do the chapter, and this is also a good thing if we chapter. But now we stop with each verse. Say, what are the consequences of this verse for my life? Ask that question, and then we'll see that we assimilate this knowledge deeply. Then it will be with us. But if we just parrot-like read, and it doesn't, we don't think of the consequences, then it may not affect us so deeply. Thank you also. Okay, yes.
Hare Krishna, Hare. I just have a question. When you were saying about, you said that when you were a new devotee in the temple and you did so many offenses, even in the middle of the night, you were like waking up, and it was like your beginning in Krishna consciousness. So, what was there for you that you stay in Krishna consciousness, even though it was too much?
They also made me in charge of the Mongol Arctic sweets. That helped. And then there was something deeper. Then there was Prabhupada. Right? Because if someone asks me, when did you join ISKCON? I can give different answers. I can, give you a year if that's what you want. But if you want the real answer, I will give you that. You want the year or you want the real answer? Real answer, right? I never joined ISKCON. I didn't join ISKCON. I joined Prabhupada. And because of Prabhupada, I did do some service in ISKCON. But I didn't join ISKCON, I joined Prabhupada. I read Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada convinced me, his example, everything. Then I was thoroughly convinced, yes, this is the truth, he's the teacher of the truth. Then, okay, here's his society. All right, then I must do something in his society. Otherwise, I probably would not have joined. But because I was convinced, therefore I joined Prabhupada. and I didn't join ISKCON. But because I joined Prabhupada, I'm doing service in ISKCON still today. And it's his institution, it's his society. So here I am, making contribution. So now you know the real story.